Once again, this is Africans Online Network. We are coming in today strong and direct for you from our studios here in Germany, and I am Nwachukwu Emmnuel. The news is going to be read to you by our newscaster. Remember, today is the 22nd of March 2017, and we are on it today also, and this broadcast is about Biafra. The Biafra movement struggle, things that are going on, things that have been going on, things that are to go on. We are reflecting in all aspects, and we hope you will be right there, fully engaged to give us a pass on this. Remember, this is Africans Online Network, your ideal network for the Biafran people. As we continue, like I said, today is the 22nd of March 2017, and my name is Nwachukwu Emmnuel. In the studio with me is Emmnuel, who is going to be casting the news and giving you reactions about what is happening within, around, and beyond the Biafran struggle. We are going to, at this very moment, review a little bit of what transpired between the former chairman of the CBN, Soludo, and the governor of Anambra State, Willie Obion. We are also going to read for you comments that are coming from people who are interested in all what is going on, people who find pleasure to follow politics and to follow the ups and downs, the radical movements that are happening there in Nigeria. So now let's go first with Emmnuel from Africans Online Network.
Africans Online News with Emmnuel. Here is today's news. There is no need for change at the moment. Soludo.
You have to know that we are reading the news with an automated machine. When you hear that the Igbo names are not pronounced properly because of the makeups of the machine, but the name here now is Soludo, who is the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Professor Chukwuma Soludo. Go on.
March 18, 2017. Aka, a former governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, has commended Governor Willie Obiano of Anambra over his achievements in the area of economy within 3 years in office. Professor Soludo, delivering a lecture to mark the third-year anniversary of Obiano's administration in Aka on Friday, Soludo rated the state's economy as the fourth biggest in the country. He said the economy of Anambra, which was not an oil-producing state, had been well managed under Obiano, making it one of the most buoyant states after Lagos, Abuja, and Rivers. Soludo, who said the private sector must be encouraged to drive the economy, commended the governor for attracting a sizable number of investors to the state. The former CBN boss, who contested for the All Progressives Grand Alliance ticket with Obiano in 2013, said he would not contest the November 18 gubernatorial election. There is no need for change at the moment. Anambra is the fourth largest economy in Nigeria behind Lagos, Abuja, and Rivers. The private sector must play a role to shore up the country's earnings. We are in a crisis moment and you don't change a general in the middle of the war. In Anambra, Obiano is a general. Many people are calling on me to come and contest, but the point is, if Anambra is not broken, why mend it? There will only be vacancy in Anambra Government House in the next 4 years, he said. He urged Obiano to plead with the federal government to execute the second Niger Bridge and federal highways projects in the state. Soludo also urged the governor to hasten work on the Anambra Cargo Airport to fast-track the state's move to assuming an international status. Now a look on Willie Obiano's strategy. Having come to with the reality that the number of conspirators against his second-term ambition in office is swelling by the day, Governor Willie Obiano of Anambra State has set a machinery in motion to break the ranks of his detractors. This, no doubt, indicates that the November 18th governorship election would be more intriguing given the mounting threats against the incumbent governor. Although Obiano appears unperturbed, he has also decided to call the bluff of his benefactor and predecessor, Mr. Peter Obi. Apart from Obi, the governor is battling the Anambra South Senatorial Zone, where he has gone to conscript the former governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, as arrowhead of his campaign. Thursday, March 17, 2017 marks his 3 years in office. The event is being used to underpin his quest for another term. Many groups, including the Movement for National Integration, MNI, led by Chief Ben Izef, have been campaigning against the governor's second term. They accused him of alienating knowledgeable persons to deliver good governance in the state. Senior Special Assistant to Governor Obiano on Media, Strategic Communication, and Legislative Matters, Oliver Okpala, said allegations against his boss are frivolous, stressing that claims of exclusion and non-performance are idle talks. But one of the governor's special assistants confided in The Guardian that he has decided to break the ranks of his perceived opponents. He said the idea of winning Soludo is ostensibly to break the voting bloc of Anambra South, where it is believed that Senator Ndi Yuba, Barth Nwibe, or Obinna Ezer, may emerge as the candidate of All Progressives Congress, APC. He pointed out that the idea of selecting the former Soludo as the keynote speaker during the ceremony was to puncture Obi's governance style and acclaimed fiscal wizardry. Obi and erstwhile national chairman of All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, Chief Victor Ouma, ganged up against Soludo's governorship in 2013 to pave the way for Obiano's emergence. But no sooner had Obiano and Obi fell apart than Obiano started searching for political standard bearers to anchor his second-term chase. Initially, the incumbent wanted to anchor his political plots on Ifeanyi Yuba, believing that the exploits of the oil magnate with the transformation ambassadors of Nigeria, TAN, could help galvanize support for him, but changed his mind. While Obiano continued to search for a credible name to direct his campaigns for second term, Obi persistently loomed large with positive public image, expanded by his delivery at the platform in Lagos. As Nigerians, especially Anambra people, reflect glowingly on Obi's years in office, the impression began to circulate of the incumbent as a wastrel, hedonist, and incompetent administrator. Soludo's recent visit to the incarcerated Nnamdi Kanu was said to have recommended him highly to the governor. The former CBN chief is said to have enlisted members of Movement for Biafra in Nigeria, MOBIN, another self-determination group, to break the opposition of MNI and the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, to Obiano's comeback. Besides, sources claimed that Obi have shortlisted 3 aspirants on different platforms to battle Obiano, including Obinna Uzo of APC, Dr. Alex Obi-Ogbolu of People's Democratic Party, PDP, and Dr. Oslaka Obeys of Hope Democratic Party, HDP. Obeys was secretary to the state government, SSG, under Obi, and for 15 months under Obiano. However, perhaps as a direct affront to Obiano's decision to settle for Soludo, the people of Old Agwata Union, OAU, have decided to chart their own direction, believing that Soludo has been procured as a spoiler to deny the South a possible shot at the governorship. Last Saturday, representatives of the 45 communities making up the Old Agwata Union met at Nero Stadium, Nanka, Orumba North Local Government Council, and endorsed Chief Godwin Azima of the Progressive People's Alliance, PPA, as their choice for the November 18th governorship. The traditional ruler of Ikenga, Igwe Eziobi Onwum, was on hand to deliver prayers for the success of the people's desire. The program, which was the high point of an interdenominational service by Odinma OAU Forum, during which the people, led by their traditional rulers, clergy, and presidents general among others, prayed to God to grant them their heart's desire of producing the governor of Anambra State in 2017. The organizers noted that the action became necessary because they have been kingmakers in Anambra politics without being able to make one of their own king. OAU resolved, this time, we will unite behind one of our own sons to win the governorship election in Anambra State. Chairman and Secretary of the Organizing Committee, Prince Joe Eminick and Mr. Dan Chibouma, signed the address read by the chairman. Eminick lamented that based on its abundant human and material resources, OAU provided the major power brokers in the state, but they never saw any need to use the opportunity to advance the developmental fortunes of OAU or project their own brothers and sisters to the highest level of power in the state. We are plunged into slavery from which we are yet to regain freedom, otherwise why are we in the habit of holding the ladder for other zones to climb to power, only to turn round and grumble that we are kicked out and sidelined? Now let us know what you think about this.
Before we go into knowing what other Biafrans think about it, we will try to draw our own analysis a little bit from what we have just heard. First of all, we'll talk about the the confusion in the Biafran movement. So in anything you hear, anything you read, any action they take, you have to remind yourself of that confusion and they try to see if there's any way to assimilate what is happening with what you know. Now, there's been a talk of saboteurs all around the Biafran struggle, but for me, I believe that nobody for now knows who the saboteurs are. The people that are being pointed at might not be the ones, they might also be. I'm not defending anyone and I'm not accusing anyone. But the fact of the matter is that it is obvious that people who often become the saboteurs in a movement like this are often high-ranking people who have vast knowledge of the governance and what is happening within the general spectrum of Nigeria. These are the people who have the capacity to become saboteurs, saboteurs who derive or accumulate wealth or does what they do for beneficial gains, personal riches. I cannot imagine all these young youths who are running around with the whole emotion in them, who are even being killed, although they are having difference in opinion, although you can say some of them are even confused. I can't imagine them being the saboteurs. Why I'm saying this is, there are points to this very topic, there are things I would like our people to be paying attention to. One, bear in mind that the people who will sabotage you are those people you really believe on, are those people who are really influential, are those people who are really understands the system and are friendly with the Nigerian government and also to the Biafran people. These are the people who have the possibility to sabotage you for reasons, very good reasons of wealth. We know that is what counts to everybody. So, bearing that in mind, first of all, this former chairman of the central bank, Nwachukwu Soludo, is a very respected man, both in Nigeria and both among our people. He's somebody when he talks, people listen. He's somebody when he makes a move, people want to know for what. I am not saying anything wrong or anything good, but I'm just putting a kind of imagination into your head so that our people will not just follow sheepishly because somebody who they know who had a height in and influence in the governance of Nigeria, although we also know that the Nigerian government is a complete fraud. So anything inside it, anybody can also be qualified in as much as you have worked there to be fraudulent. No matter how you try to pave your way or to walk away from all those dirty tricks. Somehow, someday, you might be a little bit influenced by it. We know that. You can't just go swim this dirty water and come out very, very clean. So what I'm saying to that effect is, we know that this man has been a central bank governor. But at the same time, there's something I really want to put into consideration here. This man, remind you, is with the APC. Although we have APCs who are ruling over our own place, although we have a lot of things happening, our own people who are involved in all this kind of arrangements, but this is a man that right now he visited Nnamdi Kanu. I saw him the other day with Tony Nadi visiting Nnamdi Kanu at what is it, Kojipizin or what they call it, and the whole world held. The whole world saw, I mean, at least our people. Nigeria had a recommendation that a very influential man has added his voice. Today I see the Sun newspaper coming to add their name among the people who are calling for the release of Nnamdi. Very wonderful thing. I saw them make a list and included this Soludo's name among the influential men who have added their voice, asking the federal government to release Nnamdi Kanu. That is pleasant. That is wonderful action. But let me continue on this man. Because when he did this move, when he took this action. Remember what I said, we have to be skeptical about every action, every word, anything done in this movement, because there's a lot of confusion and there is a lot of misconception. Right now, we don't know who is who. According to my own understanding, I cannot for sure tell you, look at this guy, he's the saboteur, or I cannot for sure defend any one of them, no matter their rank, no matter their position, no matter the office they have held, no matter how rich they are. I cannot defend who they are or what they are doing to the cause of the Biafran movement. But I recognize the fact that our people are not so much inclined with the APC, or the Biafran agitators don't really love the APC. But this man is an APC. He is influential. He is well-to-do. He is respected in our place. He is being heard. When he speaks, people listen. When he went to the prison to visit Nnamdi Kanu, people held him high. Why I'm saying this is that we should recognize that Biafra movement is a little bit different. Although we are one people with the rest of our eastern regionals who don't believe in our cause, but we are a little bit different from our own brothers who are also easterners or who don't believe on the movement. The traders, the businessmen, the politicians who do their own thing but don't agree on the agitation of Biafra. Now, that is where the point comes. These people can accept, these people, all these other our brothers who don't understand the agitation can accept when a man like Soludo, who is sitting under the platform of APC, comes and says anything, because generally he is talking about the betterment of Nigeria as a whole. But it should be taken a little bit more skeptical when you are talking in the forum of the Biafran agitators. One, there are things they never accepted to do, they are now accepting to do, was mixing themselves into politics. Also, although some people are still hell-bent on that very notion that there is nothing you can do with the Nigerian standard, even up to the extent that the Lower Niger Congress is calling for total dissemination of total cancellation of or throw away of that very constitution without providing an alternative. So you can see that there is a very big rejection of what the people who are in the agitating camp. There's a difference of what they feel, what they know, how they respond to the other rest of our brothers. But they feel this different. They act on these differences they know, they feel. But the problem they have is that sometimes they get mixed up with general feelings of the people. For me, going to visit Nnamdi Kanu will not just wave my attention into maybe following sheepishly anything Soludo will say. Right here in this very statement here, he goes by saying there is no need for a change at the moment. He makes good comments about Obiono, good economic management in Anambra State. Also go on saying that Anambra State has become the fourth biggest economy in the country after Lagos, Abuja, and the River State. But the irony of the statement I see there, my own, where I just become a little bit less watch. What I just said about the sabotage aspect of the whole issue is a different issue. I just want to kick your head, remind you of how we should be thinking, not just because now Saudi we just put it in our pocket. It's 10. We carry and put in pocket. We need to really control. We really need to know if actually it's 10. So, but the irony of the statement made here is that after praising the governor, economic management, saying about what Anambra State has become now as a good economy, the fourth biggest economy in Nigeria, then he goes on to say, I quote, "We are in crisis and do not you do not change a general in the middle of a war. In Anambra, Obiano is the general. Many people are calling on me to come and contest, but the point is, if Anambra State is not broken, why mend it? Now I'm pointing on this because it's it contradicts itself in this very point. When you say the governor of Anambra State, when you praise him for good management and raising the state to the fourth biggest economy, and then coming again to say that people want you, people are calling on you to contest. Now, to your own justification, because you praised the governor of good economic management and raising the height and position of the country, because of that, you said, why do you need to fix Anambra State if nothing is broken? You don't mend it. That is right. It's right what you said. But on top of that statement, before that very quote down, there is a quote up also from the same man, which I have read. I read it again. It says, we are in crisis, in a crisis moment. We are in crisis moment. Crisis moment needs a change. Unlike what he said, you do not change a general in middle of a war. You do not change a general in the middle of a war. You're still using a very catastrophic analogy to qualify a state. You said that the government is good, that you have no reason to mend. That is, you say, many people are calling on me to come and contest, but the point is, if Anambra State is not broken, why mend it? Same statement, just in that very paragraph, two statements that contradict themselves at the same time, just in one point. The first one goes to tell you that the people want him to come and change Anambra State. Then he pointed out that there is no need to change something or mend something that is not broken. If it's not broken, why did you say that we are in crisis moment? When something is broken, it is in a crisis. When something is not working fine, that is when you describe it as in a crisis moment. You go on to say, and you do not change a general in the middle of a war by using that very word, war. We know war is a crisis moment, just like you referred correctly from the onset. Say we are in a crisis moment. At the bottom, you come on, you said again, you do not change a general in the middle of a war. That is to say that Anambra State is in the middle of crisis, and you, Soludo, really don't need to say if nothing is broken, why mend it? If that's my own, I don't know how it goes to affect the people on the ground in Anambra State, but I only make an observation of someone who in one speech contradicting his own self in just one speech. Now we are going to go on to listening to response that are coming from others. This is from
Paulo Dinka.
Okay.
Responds.
Okay.
There are seemingly some truths or coincidences in the news reports. But then, I observed some outright falsehood in the report. The only one that I may agree with is the headline, which I also didn't feel very comfortable with for Soludo, given the praises he was showering on Obiano in the ceremony where he was the lead speaker, and the urge for continuity. If the arrangement with Obiano is true, then Soldado must be more politically naive than I thought. It's possible Obiano asked for his support in 2017, and in return, promised to back him for 2021 gubernatorial election in Anambra State. On the surface, that is a fine compromise, but on a deeper reflection, I didn't feel very comfortable with it. This discomfort can only be dispelled if Obiano could come clean on the rift between him and Obi, inasmuch as the likelihood of Obiano remaining in Aguaca after 2018 is very low. I have also observed that most political propaganda against Obi were being sponsored by the Obiano's camp. The arrangement is very unpalatable, given the fact that Obiano does not stand a chance of being re-elected, if he should face any formidable candidate to be presented by UP. Soldado could have tried his luck at getting the UP ticket, as it could not have been a smooth ride, given other formidable aspirants that will be jostling for the same ticket in UP. But with this development, if it is the truth, then Soldado has sealed his fate of governorship ambition in 2017 and 2021. However, it is still too early to make a prediction for Anambra 2017 governorship election. The only thing with some high level of certainty is a regime change in Anambra State, come November 18, 2017. Another response from Ifeisenway39 reads: Politician can be funny at times. God is the only one to take us to promised land. Great Biafra, great. I now remember vividly how in 1982 Chief Bola Ige-San as governor of Oyo State was confronted with the challenge of custom men leaving the borders to pursue innocent traders at Baggy Market in Ibadan. He simply unleashed millions of Oyo State indigenes on the custom men, and Shigeri as president had to act quickly to stop what would have resulted into another civil strife. The custom men were simply chased out of Oyo State directly by people's might. Those were the days of charismatic and pragmatic leaders who were in charge of their states and in control of their people's affair. God give us leaders and not dealers. What an aberration! An army colonel in charge of custom. Only in Nigeria, a country of anything goes, where SSS operatives would work at cross-purpose with another MDA called FC only for the ignorance to place the blame of a divided presidency at the doorstep of the Senate. God give us leaders and not dealers. If a state government cannot define its people as not worthy to be called the governor, I can go on and on to say that. Let Ndi Igbo collectively accept whoever is willing to defend his people to govern them, not too much grammar that not taken us anywhere. The next person in line to take over custom by seniority was DCG Nwosu. For the fact he is an Igbo Buhari went as far as bringing in a northern retired army colonel, an outsider, and something never done before, just to make sure an Igbo man doesn't clinch that seat. The plan is to now assemble new DCGs with a northerner as senior to take over from the retired general, Hamid Ali. Hamid, with this pressure, will resign sooner to pave way for the prospective senior Northern Deputy Controller General, DCG, as Controller General, CG. How can a country grow with the kind of a leader with this tribalistic attitude all through his leadership history? Nepotism, is it not the highest corruption? And when people complain and point these glaring inequalities out rather than calmly ascertain the merits of such complaints and demand for corrective measures, or just keep quiet and let those affected make their voices heard, some spineless oafs will start talking about how Igbos always play the ethnic card or always claim victimization. Same thing keeps happening. Yet some expect others to keep quiet and accept crumbs when they are entitled to more for purpose of fairness. They get tired and decide to get out of the sham of a union, but they get branded as traitors of national unity, seeking to divide an entity. Where is the unity in the first place? Expecting a developmental and progressive country with houses/Fulanis is the same as expecting that Indians would have succeeded in their relations with Bangladesh then. It is not only parasitic and predator sort of, but always progress in reverse bias.
And you can add your own comments below as you hear these words, as you reflect on what is going on. This is a response from a brother based on Willie Obiono's and Puma Soludo's affections to one another. Now we will be talking about the court case, the Biafran court case.
Now on Biafran's court case. The indigenous people of Biafra vs. the federal government of Nigeria and the Attorney General of the Federation. Suit No. FHC/OW/CS/192/2013. Biafran court case on issue of rights to self-determination/independence. Report of the court hearing of Thursday, March 16, 2017. The indigenous people of Biafra turned out in their multitude on Thursday, March 16, 2017 at the Federal High Court Owerri to witness the hearing of the substantive issues on the suit filed at the Federal High Court Owerri by the Incorporated Trustees of Billy Human Rights Initiative representing the indigenous peoples of Biafra vs. the Federal Government of Nigeria and the Attorney General of the Federation. Recall that the indigenous peoples of Biafra had on last month recorded an overwhelming victory on whether the Federal High Court Owerri has jurisdictional powers to entertain the case. They have equally on different occasions recorded victories in time past on other preliminary objections raised by Nigerian lawyers since the inception of the case in 2013. Nigeria was well represented by their learned counsel, while the legal team of Biafra, being led by a legal pundit who was a former Attorney General of Imo State and a professor of law in the person of Professor Dike San, was personally in court with other 9 brilliant and learned gentlemen in the legal profession who equally belonged to the Biafran legal team. The suit brought by way of originating summons requires the federal government of Nigeria and the Attorney General of the Federation to appear in court to answer fundamental questions impinging on the rights of indigenous peoples of Biafra, which to date has remained unanswered. They are 1. Whether the indigenous peoples of Biafra, in pursuant to Articles 19 to 25 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, Ratification and Enforcement, Act. Cap 10, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, have the rights to self-determination or not. 2. Whether the claimants who identify themselves as Biafrans by indigenous identity are committing any offense by doing so contrary to any provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 or contrary to the Criminal Code, and whether it is a crime under any national or international law to mention the name Biafra or for the remnants of the indigenous peoples of Biafra who were not consumed by war to maintain their indigenous identity as Biafrans with their native emblems and symbols as they do now, even though they are Nigeria's by citizenship and nationality laws, and if the answer is in the negative, whether the defendants, federal government of Nigeria, are justified to arrest, detain, shoot, and or kill the children of the claimants, indigenous peoples of Biafra, for identity themselves as Biafrans by indigenous identity as guaranteed by Articles 19, 25 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights of Indigenous Peoples' Rights, Ratification and Enforcement, Act, Cap 10 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 1990. 3. Whether by interpretation of Section 2 of 1999 Nigerian Constitution it is a CRME for indigenous peoples of Biafra and other nationalities held together in Nigeria against their will to exercise their rights to self-determination by seeking for independence under the law as guaranteed by Articles 19-25 Cap 10 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 1990 and United Nations Resolution 61/295 of 2007, known as Union Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. 4. Whether it is lawful under Nigeria Constitution of 1999 and under the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, Ratified and Enforcement, Act, Cap 10, Laws of Nigeria for the indigenous peoples of Biafra and other ethnic nationalities to be held together in Nigeria by force or in a forced marriage akin to slavery, since no Nigeria law, or that if international law makes it a crime to seek for freedom by the rule of law. 5. Whether the amalgamation of the peoples of the South and North by the British to form one country called Nigeria was with the consent and agreement of the indigenous peoples of the land, etc. The most respected Biafran learned pundit Professor Dike San addressed the court on the above issues before the court and argued very strongly that Biafra has right to self-determination. He made strong reference to many overwhelming exhibits including ancient maps of Biafra etc. to buttress his argument beyond reasonable doubt. The Learned Counsel of the Federal Government of Nigeria also put up a brilliant argument in his quest to win some points. This is no doubt a case that will catapult Biafra to independence if God in His infinite mercy grants Biafra victory. At the court premises were a huge number of Nigeria police who came in many police vans to ensure there was strong security and order. The police officers conducted themselves according to rules of engagement. Biafrans equally were very peaceful and disciplined throughout the court session. June 6, 2017 has been slated for further hearing. Biafrans are therefore requested to stand up and come together as a strong family to restore Biafra. This is time to bury our differences and forgive all wrongs. Join us on June 6, 2017, Thursday, at the Federal High Court Owerri, as the court continues with the hearing. Remain blessed and keep following us. Comrade Frank, reporting.
Okay, that's it for our news, but now we are going to go on a piece of advice. We are going to read a scam that is going on now about postal services. Maybe if you know one, you send it to us, but bear in mind and take care, perfect attention about what we are going to read to you now, because it's happening. It can happen anywhere. It can happen even in the States. It can even happen in Germany here. It can, I know it's happening at home. People at home should be cautious. It can also happen here. Nobody knows. But just take this as a word of advice.
Okay, dear all. This is from a friend about a door-to-door delivery scam. Please take a bit of time and listen. This scam was actually very cleverly worked out that you will not suspect anything is wrong. The following is the account of the incident. Wednesday a week ago, I had a phone call from someone saying that he was from a company called Express Couriers. He asked if I was going to be home because there was a package for me that required a signature. The caller said that the delivery would arrive at my home in roughly an hour. Sure enough, about an hour later, a uniformed delivery man turned up with a parcel and a bottle of wine. I was very surprised since there was no special occasion, and I certainly didn't expect anything like it. Intrigued, I inquired as to who the sender was. The courier replied, "I don't know, I'm only delivering the package." Apparently, he said the sender would want to give you a surprise and a card would be sent separately afterward. It happened that my birthday was on the way also, so we thought it could be from a distant friend. There was also a consignment note with the gift. He then went on to explain that because the gift contained alcohol, there was a 1,000 naira delivery/verification charge, providing proof that he had actually delivered the package to an adult, of legal drinking age, and not just left it on the doorstep where it could be stolen or taken by anyone, especially a minor. I called my husband, who said the price of the wine is in the range of 10,000 naira. This sounded logical and I offered to pay him cash. But he said that the delivery company required payment to be by credit, ATM, or debit card only, so that everything is properly accounted for. He added they also don't carry cash to avoid loss or likely targets for robbery. My husband pulled out his ATM card and gave him to swipe the card on a small mobile card machine with a small screen and keypad and asked to key in the verification code. Frankly, at this point we never suspect anything abnormal, and a receipt was printed out and given to us. He then wished us good day and went off as normal. To our horrible surprise, between Friday and the following Monday, 450,000 naira had been withdrawn from our account at various ATM machines. Apparently the mobile ATM card machine, which the delivery man carried, had all the info necessary to create a dummy card with all our card details, of course with the verification code. Upon finding out about the illegal transactions on our card, we immediately notified the bank to stop payment, but it was already too late. We went to make a police report. But at the station, we found out that quite a number of households had been similarly hit. Warning: be wary of accepting any surprise gift or package, which you neither expected nor personally ordered, especially if it involves any kind of payment as a condition of receiving the gift or package. Also, never accept anything if you do not personally know or there is no proper identification of who the sender is. Above all, the only time you should give out any personal credit card information is when you yourself initiated the purchase or transaction. And that ends our morning transmission.
That was my...
Remember, I am Maz Mandelo.
Thank you very much. And from me here is...
your host, Africans Online.
And I am also Nwachukwu Emmnuel,
Bye.
also a host, Africa Online. We are ending this transmission. Bye. And hope you share.